So here we're going to talk about reflections again, but instead of talking about a reflection in a horizontal or vertical line, we are going to talk about what happens when we reflect in something that has a little bit of each. So we call these y equals ax, because a could be anything, but we're going to deal with the easiest cases where we don't have a leading coefficient. So we're looking at the line y equals x. So that means let's just choose a couple points. So that's the easiest way to do these ones is choose a couple points to pick. So easiest thing is, well, let's choose when x is equal to 0 as 1, and let's choose x is equal to, say, 1. Okay? So looking at our equation that we are given, so y equals x, so y equals, well, let's substitute in a value of x, which is 0. So that means when x is 0, y is 0. So we have one point that we can mark there. Then let's do the same thing with this next point, x is equal to 1. So when x is 1, we put that into our equation, and we're going to find that y is 1. So we have another point, point 1, 1. So we have 2 points, and we can make our line, but I want to check one more point, so let's try how about x is equal to 2. So when x is equal to 2, and you substitute in our equation, we're going to find y is equal to 2, so we're going to find the point 2, 2. Now you might see the pattern saying that, well, when x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 2, and so on and so forth. That's great. So when we're actually drawing it, you can check to make sure your line lies on it. Yours is much easier using with pencils and paper than it would be using this software, but we get the same result. So now I'm going to show this a different color of line. You don't have to worry too much, but now we're going to take each point like we did, and we're going to go towards the line. So that means draw a horizontal line over for this first point, and then count we're 1, 2, 3 away in our x direction. Well, look at our equation. It says x is equal to y. So if we're 3 away in our x direction, that means we're going to be 3 away down in our y direction. So 1, 2, 3. So that point is actually going to be there. Now, let's choose another point. I'm going to try a different color just so you can see it. So, sorry, get a different color. And let's pick this point just below it. So here it's 2 away to the line, and then it's going to be 2 away. I'm going to just make that line a little bit thicker so we can see it a little bit better. So we're 2 away there, then we're going to be 2 away in the y. Next, let's pick our next point. So I'm going to choose do it in red, and so we're 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So we're going to overlap the green one, and we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and we'll be able to make another point. And you can kind of see where we're going with this last one. The other point's just going to pop here. So you don't actually need to do it for all of your points, as you've kind of been seeing in the past, but we do want to continue by drawing our lines and finishing off our shape. One thing I'm going to bring attention, because some people actually might like this a little bit more, is the fact that when you're doing these, and for simple ones where y is equal to x, or simpler ones I should say, notice that let's just pick a point on our original shape. So this purple point here, that's point -3 and 2. And in the end, that point came here. That point turned into 2 and -3. So what happened here? Well, our y's turned into x's, and our x values turned to y's. So you could do this process wholly on coordinate points, but it's good to understand both methods. So here is a little bit of practice. There's two where y equals x, and then the third one is y equals negative x. So at this point, pause the video. Once you're ready, you may press play. All right, so we're back. Here we're going to first start off by drawing our y equals x line. So we just did this with our other one. We know it's all these values. And we're going to draw the same line in for our next graph. And then our following graph, well, it's just the reverse process. So if you didn't get this one, that's fine. You'll see it pop up more. So when x was equal to 1, y was equal to negative 1. When x was equal to negative 1, y was equal to 1. So here, we're doing the exact same process. So let's just take a point one at a time and draw some lines across. I'm going to choose to do a little bit of dotted lines this time to hopefully make our lives a little bit easier so we can see through. So first, I always like to choose my closest points. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. Next one we're going to do, let's go clockwise. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So here we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at our next point, going clockwise. So we're 6 away. Now we're going to be 6 away. And if you haven't already done it, you can see why you want to actually mark your points because you'll get lines overlapping, which is fine if you know what you're doing. And this last point, I'm just not going to bother drawing because we know that it's supposed to form a rectangle. You can kind of take little shortcuts once you feel confident enough. And last thing we want to do is connect all of our dots using a ruler or a straight edge and a pencil. Okay, so same thing. Next thing, we're going to look at our next diagram, and I'm going to do without using lines this time. Show where you can get to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll make that point. So moving clockwise. So this point is 1, 2, 3 away. So we're 1, 2, 3 in our Y. The next point going clockwise is 5 away in our X. So that means it's going to become 5 away in our Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This next point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So or 6. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice we're still only working with horizontal and vertical lines when we come down to it. Now that we know what we're doing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. And our last point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is where you might have wanted to connect your points as you're going. But if not, if you didn't and you're connecting them after, just take a look at your original shape if you're in doubt and make sure that, hey, well, you want it to be a reflection on that line. So you know that that little cutout part is going to be facing away from the line or furthest away. So last one we're going to go through is where we had y equals negative x as our line of symmetry. So nothing has changed here. We're doing the same procedure. So we're 1, 2 away from here. So we're 1, 2 away to find our point there. Next thing we're going to do is look at another line. So let's look at our next point clockwise. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4. We can follow through, picking more colors as always, clockwise. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want to show one thing right now. I'm just going to draw these points in. But notice how I went to the bottom right with each of these, right? So I went to the bottom right, but why couldn't we count upwards? We're just changing our numbers. Well, we can. So 1, 2, 3, sorry, not my straight edge. So here we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we get to the exact same point no matter if we draw the lines up at the beginning or right at the beginning. So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter which way you like to do. Pick whichever one you're comfortable with. And the last point we can kind of see it's going to line there. So we're going to just draw our lines to connect. You should try and get to the point where you're comfortable doing some of the points with, or some of the lines without actually doing all the points. So getting 3 out of 4 points and being able to draw your diagram would be kind of where you want to get to. So now we've done with reflecting in a line y equals ax. See you in the next video.